Okay, well, today we are going to build ourselves a spaceship on a stick. It's a theme that's been handed to me by one of my viewers, John Nowak. Novak, hope I pronounced that correctly. So it's part of a theme that I started in my previous Let's Play episode. So let us build ourselves a simple plane first. Let's get ourselves a bay. Where are the bays? Bays. They're not under here? Where are the bays gone? Under here somewhere. Utility maybe? Got way too many add-ons. Here we go. Cargo bay. Because we're going to deliver a small piece of cargo. A small satellite's going to be crammed in there. Let's get ourselves a fuel tank. Now what we'll need is we're going to need a rocket tank, because rockets attach to other parts, whereas jet engines don't. So this is going to be our main body with our main fuel. Now if that's going to be rocket, we don't need any oxidizer in there, just liquid fuel. Let's close this up for a moment. Now we're going to need something to get us the last section into space and then obviously get us back down. So shall we go for overkill? Let's go for overkill and put on a couple of large tanks, and then we will try them. A single Terrier engine should be enough to get us into orbit for the last section, and then we want jet engine to bring us back. You know, those are probably overkill. Let's go for something a little bit smaller. Let's go for the 400 fuel tank. There we go. So there's the 400. Now I'm going to do for quite an early stage in career mode, so we won't have the large jet engine. We'll go for the basic jet engine, so we'll have two of those. So this is going to be the basics of our craft. For this we will need air intakes. Again, let's go for simple air intakes, in which case we will use nose cones and then the radial intakes. We'll use radial intakes, and let us put these, have two there, and just for balance, although this could prove, no, that could probably prove a problem. I was going to put some underneath, but got up at the wheels somewhere. So we will do that later. So wings. Okay, wings, we've got swept wings, and we've got the small delta wing. Well, it's going to be, these small wings are going to prove a little bit too small, I think, because this has got to fly. This has actually got to fly. Because the last section, returning back from space, is going to require lift. At least some lift anyway. So let's try, if we're assuming we're going to use small delta wings, what we can do is cram on another set of delta wings there, and I'm going to use the offset tool just to pull these down so they fit kind of in there, but they were a little bit off when I placed them. So let's take them off again and then get them so they line up as best possible. Like so, and then go for the offset tool again, and this time just pull them in. There we go. So, because I want to keep it quite narrow, I don't want this to be a very wide space plane on a stick. It's got to be as narrow as possible, so it doesn't cause too many imbalance problems. Okay, so we're doing okay there. Now we will need tail plane. We've got the large tail fin, or we've got the one I actually like is the AV8. Where is that one? Here we go. The AVR8. I prefer this one. Wrong way round. Oh. Turn it round. Now what I'm hoping is, having turned it round, it's not actually going to... It's not actually going to rotate or act in the opposite direction. Now this gives us a good sort of standard aircraft, but I'm wondering whether we should go for something a bit more like that. A bit more like this, a little bit more, you know, a little more space agey, shall we say. Turn these around again, wrong way. So if I line them up with that tile there, and I do the same with these, and they're just about lined up right anyway. So that gives us a little more space age look and feel. I'm just going to try this plane first, just see how it flies. So let's get some wheels on it. So wheels, landing gear, landing gear. So we use the small landing gear. I'm going to assume we've unlocked small landing gear, and we'll get these under here. So 2 there and 1 up at the nose. Like so, and this is just the basic plane. So this is going to be the Spaceplane on a stick. The Spaceplane on a stick Mark 1. So I think that's probably enough just for test flight. So let's now check out centre of lift and centre of mass, which aren't actually too bad. We're probably a little bit too far back. So how am I going to, because what I don't want to do is bring these wings too far forward. So let's go with the offset tool again, and we'll start by just bringing these wings a couple of clips forward, and then we'll do the same with these ones. And if we go to snap off and just bring that forward to there, that should be pretty good. So let's, now we've got fuel and oxidizer in here for the jet engines. We'll leave this tank just for the rocket engine, which has just got liquid fuel in it. So should we try this? Let's move these, while we're here, let's move these landing gear just a smidgen further forward. I'll do them on snap. There we go. So we're going to be slightly nose down when we hit the runway. So I'm not sure if that is going to be good. I'll tell you what, why don't we test it? Why don't we just test it? So let's save this and pop out onto the runway. Now this is a sandbox game, hence I've got all the parts unlocked, which also means I have a fully upgraded runway, so we're not going to have to worry too much about the runway. So there we go, we are all good to go. All our engines are in the same group, so we'll have to set about setting our action group. So let's just try the jet engine. Let's just launch off the runway, and we're just looking for whether we can get up off the runway nice. It was actually not so bad. It's just a little bit nose down. That's not so bad. So I usually expect to get to about 100 and then just nose up. That's not so bad. I've not got SAS. I've not got an extra SAS module on here. We've got a little bit of SAS in the capsule, but actually this is flying pretty well. Whoop! It rocks about a bit. It does rock about quite a bit. It's just a little bit unstable. Just a little bit unstable. So let's just take it for a bit of a fly. Now I would normally have parachutes. Bill and Jeb are going to have to do without parachutes, and we will just take her around and see if we can land. Now the engines I don't think are going to heat up the wing tips, or the tail fins. So once we have got a fair bit away from the runway, it really is quite nippy, shall we call it. So let's reduce the throttle and just turn her around the violent way. Let's just turn her around. And see if we can get her back down to the runway without crashing. Right, now my landing skills are terrible, hence the normal reliance on parachutes. Now we're drifting quite a lot this way, so let's get a bit more speed up. Here we go. This is not going to be too good for Jeb and Bill. So we're slightly off, so let's see if we can come across a little bit. There we go. We're kind of level now. Perhaps still a little bit off. I find landing smaller planes much more difficult than larger ones, just because when they nose up, they tend to rise quite a bit. So let's just see how we do. Not so bad. 200 meters up, so we're about 150 meters off the ground. We're coming in a little bit fast. Brakes on. I don't want to steer because we'll just crash. Oh dear. Do you know what? That's one of my best landings. Oh dear. We did come a little bit across the runway, but the brakes seem to have brought us to a good stop if we get it level. So let's just recover. So let's revert the flight back to the Spaceplane hangar and just make a few improvements. Let's get the action groups sorted out. So let's get the engines into different stages, just because we can. Oops. So let's drop those down into 2 separate stages. Now I'm not going to, for the time being, I'm not going to use sort of asparagus staging. I want to see how well this gets into space, but we do have probably another few things we need to add. Now one of them I think we will add are some SAS units. So let's get some SAS units on the back here. It's probably going to muck up my staging now. It certainly will if I don't have 2 of them. So let's get 2 of those on. So that might give me a little more stability. It's probably brought the weight back as well. So let's just make... No, that's still pretty good. Let's see what happens once we've drained all the fuel out of here. It moves forward quite a long way. So that might mean we want to bring the wings forward a little bit further still, because it's going to be flying on the way back when we're going to be mostly out of fuel in this tank, and we're going to be draining fuel from here. So if, for example, let's say we get that, see, it's going to be moving even further forward. So I think we need to bring these wings forward. So let's do that. Let's bring the offset tool. Let's bring these another couple of steps forward. So we're going. We've got fuel out of here at the moment. Get back into the place mode. Yeah, we've got no fuel in there at the moment at all, and it's going to be way around the front. So we're going to have to have drained all the fuel out of here in order for this to be stable on the way back. Do you know what? It might actually be handy if we can to put fuel lines the other way around to actually make sure fuel passes the other way. So let's get right in here and let's have another go at setting these up. Let's use those as kind of like a fuel outlet, and we'll get it right in there like so. There we go. So that will guarantee that weight will shift forward even if there is a little bit of fuel left in here. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, we've got a rather horrible gap in there now. What should we do to fill that? What we could do to fill that is take these wings off here. And I know it's I know it's relying on clipping, and we don't normally like that sort of thing. But let's take which is the right one? Not that one. This one? No, too big. Type E. Type E. Should we put that on here? No, that's not the right one. It's not the right one. Is it C, maybe? Yeah, type C. There we go. Let's put a type C on. And what we're going to do is we are going to use the offset tool to clip it right through the tank, like so. And let's get snap off and move it right in and right up like so. Is that right? And then we're going to use this in place mode, and we're going to place that right on the end. This is getting a little bit wide, but we'll use the offset tool to fix that. We'll use the offset tool to bring that in and that up. And that's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. What could we do? What could we do? Offset tool. Let's see. Whoops. I'll offset that. I wonder. Now there is is it wing strake? I want to put something. I want to get something on the end here. Structural wing. No, that's the wrong way round. Structural wing B. Is it A? No, that's way too big. I'm looking for. I just want like a wing cap. You know, a wing tip. Wing tip. We've got anything we could use? Is that going to fit? No, that's too small. Oh, that's the big one. Don't want that one. What about this winglet? No, it doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. We could go with this, you know. We could go with this. We could go with this. Tried to line up these sort of lines here, but this wingtip is obviously just a little bit bigger because it's got this sort of rim around it. What are we going to do? Okay, let's just try it the way we had it. Let's get the small delta wing, like so, and then what we'll do. Oh, nope, that was exactly what I did want to do. See, that's why you press Control Z and then use the offset tool. And what we're going to do is just bring this back a little, like so. Still got just a tiny smidge in here where it sticks out, but you know what? I'm going to pretend I can't see that. So let's save that. And next, what do we want? Right, okay. Next, we can have. No, I'm not going to worry about the payload just now, but I do want to make sure this is a fully functioning aircraft. So what we can do is I've got some Mark II battery parts. Mark II, we've got a Mark II battery. So what we can do is we can go into place mode. We can take that off, get ourselves a Mark II battery, stick that in there, and that kind of just sorts that out as well. So we've got a Mark II battery. We need some solar panels that we can't do without. Everybody knows if you watch my Let's Play, these are the solar panels you just can't do without. So we'll put a couple on there just to collect some of the rays, in case we... Did I somehow mess this wing up? It looked better. I don't know. I'm just being a bit picky, aren't I? So let's go back to no snap. I think it might be just that there's, I don't know, you know, it's not necessarily designed to be joined right there. There we go. There we go. Save it. Right. So we've got some solar panels on there, which hopefully will be facing the sun at some point. We will also put some matching panels underneath. We'll put those underneath here. Get snapped back on. Put those under there like so. Not lined up very well. So let's. Is that better? Yep, that's better. And we'll put a couple on here on the side, just so we get some light from all angles. There we go. I've got snap on, but it doesn't snap this way. Shame. There we go. So we got some sunlight from all angles. I'll tell you what. Why don't we put these? Why don't we put those there? Keep the theme going. Right. So we've got panels all around. Do you know? I don't know what their what's their maximum temperature. 1200 degrees. They're going to become thundering through. Going to come thundering through the atmosphere on our way back. So we'll see if they explode on the way back. What we might have to do is possibly remove. Yeah, let's remove them from the bottom. We're going to have to do without them on the bottom because it's the bottom that's going to be belly down. In which case we'll put the extra ones on the top here because this is going to be. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay, that's what we'll do. Okay, so that's that. We've got a battery. We have no lighting, so let's get some cheekbone lighting going, which I think is illuminators. I've got some of these surface-mounted spotlights, so we'll use these on the nose here somewhere around. I don't know, here. Let's give some light over the cabin. Difficult to tell how effective they will be at range, but they should be okay there, just to give us a little bit of an idea which way we're going. We've got lights on the wheels for landing as well, and perhaps we shall. Well, we'll worry about the bay later because we'll put some lighting in the bay. We'll put some lighting in the bay later when we've decided on our payload. Right, now this is clearly not going to be flying as is, so what we'll do then is we'll now go and see if we can make it a launcher over in the VAB. So we're going to merge this with the launcher. So let's go over. No, we're not going to launch. We're going to go out to KSC. Yeah, we'll go out to KSC and then over into the VAB, and we'll make a launcher. So the first thing to do is to load our craft. So let's load our craft from the Spaceplane hangar, and it was, there we go, the SPS Mark 1. So let's load that. And let's grab hold of it, not by the engine. I should have changed the attachment point, shouldn't I? So let's grab hold of it there, like so. Reattach the engine. There we go. And so this is our crop. I have no idea if this is going to be. And we can't close those up. Okay, we'll do that later. I have no idea if this is going to be the right way around for the launch pad, so it's leaning into the launch. But we will worry about that later. We need to build a launcher. And the launcher is going to have about 4,000 delta V in the launch stage, including this jet engine, including this LV909 Terrier engine. So ignoring the liquid fuel engines that we have there. Okay, so what next? We need a, where are we going? We need structural decouplers. There we go. So we will put a decoupler on here. We are not going to skimp since this is a sandbox. But why is that not an adapter? We are going to use, where's the large, there we go, the large Rocamax brand adapter. And then we're going to use good old orange tank. So let's go use orange tank. Orange tank, here we go, the Rocamax Jumbo 64. Put that on the bottom. Now this is not the largest ever payload, so we won't go for one of the very, very large rockets, because again they come later in the space program. We'll go for the RE, is that 15 or I5 Skipper? RE15 Skipper. So there we go, we've got 2.6 in these stages so far. So we'll go for a traditional asparagus launch. We've got 1.9, so it is actually quite heavy. 1.9 thrust to weight ratio on the pad. So let's go for my favourite decouplers, which are these TT70s. I like a little bit of distance. Let's get angle snap on, and we will get 2 of those lined up with this little band here. We'll get 2 more here because we go for 4-way symmetry with tanks. Now we could go for orange tanks or even boosters for cheapness sake, but we'll go for the silver tanks, the steel tanks. Where are we? These Rocamax standard tanks, because again these come quite early in your space program. So let's go like so. Are those roughly lined up? Yes, they are. Okay, so let's just see how we get on. Let's just see how we get on with, where's the fuel line? I think fuel line on the first tab. So let's go join these 2 together like so, and then let's squeeze right in here and get these in like so. I wish the other ends of fuel lines snapped, only the source line snaps, but there you go, and you should be able to switch it on and off, but there you go. Right, so let's go back to our Skipper engines. What I want to do is just see, what have I got? What does this give me? So we'll get, we don't want all these engines in the wrong stages, and we want to make sure these are staging separately. So let's get those in there like so. So this is roughly set up correctly, and we've got, oh look at that, marvellous. We've got 4,500, that's plenty. That is actually rather a lot. We've got plenty of thrust to weight ratio. Do you know what? Why don't we try it? Keeping those engines, what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually get rid of these ones. What have we got? See, that's 3.7, and we've still got pretty good. We've still got a pretty good thrust to weight ratio off the pad. 3.7. Oh, you know, 3.7's about enough. You know, it's a 3.7 is about enough. Why do we not have? That doesn't look right. Only 128. Only 128 in this stage. Is that because that's still empty? No, it's still full. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right at all. Still, we'll worry about that when the time comes. Worry about that when the time comes, because 3-6 should get me into a comfortable orbit. And then I have a little bit for manoeuvring. So if we were delivering a part to a station, I wonder if that's so low. I wonder if that's so low because the fuel lines are draining that way. And it's just a... Should we try it? Let's take those off. No, they're not. So it's not that. We'll come back to that. Let's come back to that. Well, see, this is almost good enough. This is almost good enough to eat. Or, in this case, launch. Right. It's plus launcher. So let's save that. I'm going to put a control wheel in here. I know you get these fairly late on in career mode, but we'll do that. I'm going to get my science. Where's my science? Get my science. Where is it? Where are we looking? We're looking for, here we go, Kerbal Engineering System, which I'm going to put on the back here. Put it on the back of the capsule. There we go. On the back. Oh, I've got two of them. I only want the one. So we'll put that on the back of the capsule again, so it's not going to suffer from any heat problems. We might have to move the fuel lines for the same reason. I don't want the fuel lines. Do fuel lines have a max temperature? Should we find out? Max temperature 2000 degrees. So they should be all right. They should be all right. But this is looking good for a Mark 1. This is looking very good for a Mark 1. So let's finish this off and get some testing done. So aerodynamic nose cones, we can use these small ones and then use tweak scale to enlarge them. Yes, I know it's cheating, but just for the Mark 1. Just for the Mark 1, okay? Next, let us get a strut connector, and what we want to do here is I'm worried about the ship wobbling around too much. So can I get right in here, and there we go, get those struts attached there to the engine, so hopefully they won't snap off, and I might be able to get two more if I go right to the end. Did that attach? No. Did I drop it? Maybe I just didn't pick one up. There we go, and then I can place those on there like so. Yep, space tape for the win. Right, so that's space tape sorted. Probably need some space tape for these engines, and again, snap on the start but no snap on the end. And I am a symmetry, well, I'd say guru, but I'm only a guru at symmetry. Right, let us get our stabilizers. So let's get some stabilizers. We'll have two stabilizers here. We'll get those there, and then two on the outside. We probably don't need any winglets, but we will have them anyway. So what's that? 4? 4. Just so we can keep the sharp end pointing towards the sky. And you know what I haven't got, and we could cheat, we could use KOS, but should we make that for the advanced tutorial? Oh look, there it is. Should we use that for the advanced model? Okay. Now I didn't add any ailerons here, elevons, because we're going to use the winglets for all of it. Probably not a great idea, but there you go. This is a space plane after all. Does that look okay? Right, shall we go launch it? Let's go see what happens. Right, so we have... Oh dear, well that's the first time that's happened to me. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, F3. What on earth happened there? The Mark II battery exploded due to overheating. Oh dear. Should we see if that's reproducible? Should we see if that's reproducible, shall we? Right. So let's revert flight to launch. Revert to launch. There we go. 3, 2, 1. And a bit more. Here we go. Oh dear. I think the Mark II battery is bugged. So we're going to have to do without the Mark II battery. I do know there are some parts that explode when you time warp. But not just when you're sitting on the launch pad. So flight events, none, but it exploded. So so that's going to have to go. So let's go back to vehicle assembly, and we're going to have to remove the battery. And I hope that's not going to upset my centre of balance too much. Well, there's only one way to find out. So we're going to take this off here. Bin the battery. Sorry, battery. So what we're going to have to do... can I take these nose cones off? Yes, I can. Let's see if I can get a couple of small round batteries in there. And then put the nose cones back on. There we go. So hopefully... hopefully that is going to be a bit better. The other possible, I guess, oh no, because they were in here. I'm guessing one possibility is because I have clipped into them so badly. I wonder if it was that. Well, one way to find out. Let's save this and have another go at launching. Right, well, so we try again. Well, it hasn't exploded. Why is it so dark? We've got lights on. We've got the gear out. So let's try getting the gear in. I didn't. Oh, we got. Oh, the light. No, the lights aren't on. I don't know. Right. Should we try? This is the wrong way round. This is the wrong way round. We have got to be rotated. We have got to be rotated. So, because otherwise we'll be going sideways. Should we just try it? Why don't we just try it? Let's throttle up. Get the T key on. What? Oh dear. Let's try it, shall we? Hey, there we go. Much better. Must pay attention to my staging. Yes, now I know why Bill is looking so upset. So let's just get slightly over. So far, so good. I don't want to turn over too rapidly. But I do want to turn over. So let's see how... Oh, no, we're going. I think the total drag... Now, I did wonder this. I think the problem... Let's just let this go. The problem is with the wings and the rocket up front, the position of drag is way too far forward. I tell you what, let's go back and check that in the vehicle assembly. I never thought to check it because I suppose... Let's go back to... We can check on this now because I suspect our centre of drag is way too far forward. Way too far forward. Yeah, look at that. Way too far forward. With all that mass down here, it is way too far forward. Now, there's an app for that. And this is something I've had a problem with in other rockets. They are way too tall. Way too tall. So what we actually need to do is swap these around. So let's put that in the bin. Let's put that in the bin. And go and get us a really short, stubby tank. We're going to get ourselves a really stubby tank. Where are we? Where's the stubby steel tanks? The tuna fish. Go and get our tuna can. Did I see the tuna can there? Yeah, there we go. We're going to put that under there so we can keep as much of our weight forward as we can. So we're going to put that there. We're going to get our engine again. Engine. We're going to go with our skipper again. So we've already moved this a long way down. So we now need to move it all the way back again. So let us get our, what we're going to do, I'm going to put 2 orange tanks on here. I'm going to put 2 orange tanks on. That's what I'm going to do. And, oh, there's only one. Let's put 2 orange tanks. Yes, I am going to try it, my old mate, my old gaming geezer. I am going to try and get this thing off the ground. Let's try 2 orange tanks. And how high up can I get them? See, that's still a long way down. But can I bring, because when I put the engines on, and this may be why not a lot of people do this. Not a lot of people do this because, oh, that's not even on. I've had a thought. Why don't I, instead of connecting them down here, connect them up here? Like, can I get them? Yep, there we go. Connect them right up here at the top. Is that going to be, that's not going to interfere with landing, but it is going to be a little bit offset. So that's right, that's above. We're going to get our 2 skipper engines, and that brings it down further still. But you see the angle that these are on, because that's not a flat surface. I wonder. Typical Kerbal engineering. So we just stick these right on the top, and we can't stick them on the top. But we can move them back to here. And that's still not quite level, I don't think. How are we doing? See, it's not quite level. But it is much better. But of course, as these drain, mass still falls a long way back. Now our other option, let's try our other option. Our other option is not to go with an open canopy, and this is the problem with having such a wide wingspan. So let's go into our aerodynamics. We'll go and get, is it that one? Is that one too big? I am starting to go, that's as far as this is going to go. It's not going to go out any further. And that is the problem with having this very wide wingspan. Because that is as far out as it will go. So how far is that? So that will just about cover out to those wings. So we could try that. Now, whether that'll have enough lift. Now, the fact that these wings are clipped will probably still work. We'll still have quite a lot of lift. And if all we're going to do is try, it's like a gliding landing, we don't have to stay in the air too long. Let's try this. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to use this fairing. We'll go right out and then up to here. Whoops. And to here. And then up to the nose. goes. There we go. Is that closed? No, it's... Well, it kind of is. Oh dear. Edit the fairing. Let's take that up. Come on. Back we go. Oh dear. And then come on, close. It's just not wanting to close. I think it might actually be too big. There we go. Close fairing. There we go. So we've now hidden our plane inside a fairing, which should turn us more into a rocket based on its mass than its rather eccentric centre of lift. It's kind of a little bit cheating. But we'll go with it, shall we? The principle here is to get a space plane on a stick into space. I didn't technically specify it had to be exposed to the airstream. Technically. So let's start again with our orange tank. We'll get our control wheel in. There we go. Get our reaction wheel in. Get our orange tank. Where's our orange tank? There we go. Orange tank. And next we will have Skipper. Aye, aye, Skipper. So we get R15 on the bottom there. We now know we only need... I really should have made this as a sub-assembly. I didn't realise I was going to be taking it apart. We need to get my favourite decoupler, 2 of those. Why have we got... has it gone on to radial? There we go, going to... 2, yeah, there's 2. And we know we need only 2 of those large or intermediate Rockomax tanks, like so, with the Skipper engine on again. So let's get the Skipper engine. Like so. I don't know why my centre of... that doesn't bode well. That doesn't bode well at all. Right, fuel line. Get our fuel line into the centre there. Do you know, I still might go the other way around. I still might want to go the other way around. 3, 4. That'll be just enough. That's only just enough. It's only just enough. And it's a bit low on the old... God, that fairing must really add a bit of weight. Okay. Okay, not to worry. We'll go back to our 4-way. We'll go back to our 4-way asparagus stage. So 4-way asparagus stage. Where we go? There we go. Get that all lined up. We're going to get our tanks. Where are we? We're going to get our Rockomax tanks again. Try and get them lined up roughly together. Fuel lines. Pop that in there. Across to there. We get a couple more of our skippers. And that gives us 4-1. 4-1 with the top stage, but only 8-2 in the bottom. Oh, that's probably because I haven't sorted this out yet. Oh dear. Right, so that should be a lot better. Yeah, 205. That's a lot better. 416, make sure they are going first, they are going second. Then we're going to get rid of our fairing. And then we've got the engine at the top. We'll separate those. We can control their separation. Okay, so that's that. Let's get our nose cones and apply our little cheat. Apply our little tweak scale. So let's go up with 1 size on tweak scale. I really hope this isn't right. But we will have some aviate winglets on the bottom. Try not to cut the fuel lines. There we go. Well, that's a little bit better. A little. A little. Right. Right, shall we go for it this time? Let's get our... This time I'm not going to mess up the staging. This time we're going to get our... They're not on straight. Thanks for pointing that out, everyone. These tanks aren't on straight. So let's put these on again. And correct the fuel line. We'll put the fuel line up here at the top, like so, and we've still got that fuel line in there. Yep, that's fine. That'll do. That'll do. Right, so let's get the launch stabilizers on again, and then just double check the staging. This time it's set up all right. We've got our stability enhancers, our engines, then we've got the left-hand as I'm looking at it, tanks. We've got the tanks end on, these tanks here. Then we've got that, and then we've got that. We've got 204 as our initial thrust to weight ratio, which is fine. That'll get us easily off the pad. Next stage 1.74, that's plenty, and 4, 1, 2, 3 in total for the top stages. So we really want to get into orbit. Say, well, let's give us a target of 100 kilometer orbit, and then leave the rest of it for manoeuvring. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit short, but we could probably do something about that, given we've got plenty of thrust to weight ratio, and we're a bit cheap down here at the bottom. So let's save this as the Plus Launcher Mark II. So let's save that. I know we've technically changed this as well, but worry about that when the time comes. So let's save this and let's get out onto the launch pad for another try. Hi Ben, thanks for viewing. Thanks for coming to see this disaster waiting to happen. Oh, I don't suppose it looks too bad on the launch pad. It's flexing a bit, but okay, so Bill and Jeb are ready to go again. So let's get the throttle up, let's get the T key on, and let's have another go. Engines are flexing a bit. I didn't put the struts on to these outer tanks, did I? Who didn't point that out? Never mind. It's working. Oh dear. Right, so let us control our thrust to weight ratio. We want to keep it at about 2. So let's get us about 2. The old gaming geezer suggestion to get some wings on here. I do like the AVR8s. I do like them. I use them quite a lot in my builds. I don't know if they're strictly necessary in most of the rocket builds, but I use them anyway. So let's keep our throttle controlled and just start getting over. We're about to jettison our first tanks. That should be top and bottom. There we go. No! Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. Well, I forgot to put in the wheels as well. There's a wheel sticking out there. So for those who are interested, it's pretty obvious what happened. The tanks, when they're ejecting, tend to swing in, and they clobbered the orange fuel tank. So back to the drawing board. So let's revert back to vehicle assembly. Oh dear. But there's Separatrons for that. I do like Separatrons. Separatrons are probably the most underrated part in the game. If you have a more underrated part, oh dear. Yes, if you have a more underrated part, do tell. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some kickers. We'll put some kickers on the side here. So let's rotate them around. So we've got 2 kickers there and there. So that should be kickers for that one. And let's put some kickers on this one as well. Like so. So this should at least force it away, and it will force it to spin away sort of diagonally in this direction. The only thing to worry about is, particularly on smaller rockets, these can actually burn the inner tank, shall we call it in this case, and cause overheating. Shall we see? Right, so we have got to get these into the right stage. So the top two separatrons are for the first separation, and then these second two separatrons are for the second separation. So we have a Mark III. So let's save that. Len, let's go back out onto the launch pad again. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate it. I hope you're looking forward to more of these Virak and Jeb Have Fun with Rockets live. I also do pre-recorded. That's where my main Let's Play is. But John Nowak gave me this suggestion of Spaceplane on a stick. I am rather cheating by putting the fairing on, but well, he didn't say I couldn't. So let's get the T key on. Let's get the throttle up and launch away. Right now, we have got to concentrate on our throttle. So we're going for a thrust to weight ratio of about 2. So that's 1 to compensate for gravity and 1 to get us accelerating up against drag. So 2 is pretty ideal. Yes, now, quite right too. Pointing our separatrons. I have been rather lazy. The old gaming geezer makes a very, very good point. If you want to avoid burning your inner tank, then put them on at an angle. So that is a very, very good suggestion, but I'm too lazy. I'm just too lazy. So let's see. No! Oh dear, oh dear. Didn't make it again. Oh dear. It wasn't powerful enough, so we are going to have 2. We are definitely going to have 2, and we might have to take up the old gaming geezer suggestion. So let's try again, shall we? So let's revert the flight. We'll go back to vehicle assembly, and we'll have another go. So not being lazy is probably the thing to do here. Right, so being lazy. The first part of being lazy is only bothering to put 1 on. 1 on per tank. So let's put 2 on per tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them off so they, because if you edit them, they don't pair, and then it's annoying to work out which ones are which. So what we can do is that we can put them on like so as a pair, and we can then just shift rotate them so they're both pointing away and pointing down. So let's do the same on this side for, pick them up, for this tank. Now we probably actually wouldn't have so much problem with these tanks because I'm actually launching in this direction. This is going to be east. And so these ones will actually just fall away. But just in case they don't, let's not be lazy. That was going to be our motto for the day, to not be lazy. We were going to put them there. No, that's too far around. So let's move them here and then rotate them so they're facing the right way, and rotate them like so. Don't have to be the same, don't have to be accurate. I just didn't do that right, did I? I am just such a neatness freak. So they need to go round, what, here? Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's about right. So that's for our second set of tanks. Notice how they've separated out there? Separated out. And I haven't got to... Oh, dear. Somebody needs to tell me when I haven't got symmetry on. And now I've got 3. And I think I've not got proper symmetry. I've got plain symmetry on. So let's change that. Right. So have I got? Where's it? Yeah, there we go. So we do the same with this one. Just double this one up. So now we've got 4. See, and they've not grouped together. So let's get them into the right stage, which is up here. And then let's repeat. Rinse and repeat. Oh. There we go. Is that neat? Yep, that'll do. Right, next. Separatrons. Separatrons here. Symmetry. Yeah, thank you. Oh dear. Right, so let's plonk these here. They've got to go that way round. And then like so. There we go. And again, let's put our last pair on here. And rotate them around. Right, so those, yep, those are neat and tidy. Neat and tidy. And we've got 2 in a pair. Must go in that one. And then we've got 2 singles. Right, now, is this going to work? I don't know. I don't know. Right, so this is the Mark IV. You know, I thought the plane bit was going to be the hard bit. Not these darn tanks. Right, so let's save that and go out and launch again. Right, so poor old Jeb and is it Bill? I think it's Bill. Are going to have to suffer this again. Not getting very far. Oh dear. Right, we're guaranteed it's going to work this time, but I am going to remember to put the gear in. There we go. Get the gear in. There we go. So we've got the gear in. So we remember to do that. So let's get Z. Let's get T, and let's go. So right, we can get off the launch pad. Just gently start angling it over. If I go too fast, I don't think this reaction wheel is going to be able to hold it. So we've got quite a big mass here at the top. Concentrating on getting it over. Our first stage is about halfway through. Just reduce the throttle a little bit. Let's cross fingers. The throttle just a little bit more, probably about a quarter to go. We can see the time to go here is about 6 seconds. Right, everyone, here we go. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. I'm going to throttle up. No! Oh dear. Did I get that wrong again? Oh dear. It doesn't actually matter because doesn't actually matter too much because I think these 2 tanks do you know, I blame Jeb. I think these 2 tanks will actually fall away just fine. I think these 2 tanks will fall away just fine. So let's keep turning it over, just reducing the throttle just a little bit, just trying to turn over, not too much. I don't mind going too steep with quite a big bulky rocket. I don't mind going too steep. That is the least of our worries. I can't believe I got that wrong again. Oh dear. Oh dear. So let's just gently start turning her over again. We're getting out into the thinner part of the atmosphere. So we shouldn't have to worry now about air resistance. Everything's calm now. Everything's calm, Bob. Bill. Oh dear. So let's throttle up. See, I really should have put... See, I think this actually isn't helping. The fact that these are already facing inwards when they are separated, I think that's probably not helping. I should have had those struts in there. So let's just wait a few seconds after they flame out and jettison there. See, they fall away much more symmetrically. Much more symmetrically. We're a little bit low on the thrust to weight ratio now, but we're doing great on... Oh, look, look, look! We're going to do it! Oh, this is great. Marvellous. We're going to do it. So let's just stay like so. We're going to go up to 100 kilometres. We're going to have loads of fuel. Have loads and loads of fuel. And there we go. Just a smidgen early. Fantastic. Now we're well out of the atmosphere, so we can spring our shell. Ouch. Jeez. Ouch. That rather shot away. I wonder if it was clipping into one of these other parts. I bet that's what it was. I bet it was clipping into one of the other parts. Right, we need to be concentrating on getting our circularization maneuver. Come on, concentrate. So let's get circularized. There we go. Bring it on to the... No, apoapsis. There we go. Where are we going? So that's at 93, so we need to add a little bit. There we go. And we got node in 1 minute and 38. So we got 90, 40, about 50 seconds. We're going to go on the 50. It's going to go on the 50. So let's stick it on the node. There we go. And then go on the 50. There we go. Spaceplane on a stick. Well, at least it's in space. It's in space. So that is, well, I say almost 50% of the problem. When we're circularized, we're sorted. That will be 50%. And we can pretend to deploy our payload. And if we've got quite a bit of delta V left, we're going to have quite a bit of delta V left because we've got 800. So we're going to have about 1,000 delta V left in this stage. So we could have quite a heavy load in this payload bay. So we're going to, this would work for deploying very small payloads. So we're about halfway through our burn now. Coming up on, what is that, 2/3. Go back to map mode, see our course extending out. 300 meters per second to go. There we go, 10 seconds. And there comes the periapsis. What's that? 89. Not very symmetrical, but we're here. We're here. So that's 50% of the problem. So that's 50% of the problem. All we need to do now is to pretend to deploy our payload. So let's go back out of map mode to our craft. So we have no intake air, obviously. We have plenty of liquid fuel and oxidizer, most of which is in here. I don't think we drained any from here or from here. Did we? No, we didn't. We still have the fuel lines in place, so that's okay. So we didn't even need this for... Because I expected we'd have dropped this tank, so we did have loads of Delta V, and I reckon we could have packed this with a really heavy satellite and loads of science goodies, and we'd still have had loads. And that might have made it a lot easier. However, we do have this rather wingless bird to bring back down. So let's imagine, if you will, that we decouple from here. So let's imagine we had decoupled and we had activated this engine and we had done some deployment. So let's just imagine we were going to do that. So let's move that away. So we're going to be landing back over here. There we go. That's where we want to land. So we want to bring our plane in sort of here over the mountains so we can kind of glide in. So let's imagine we are going to do some work out here. So let's, which way is the sun? So let's imagine we were going to charge our batteries. So the sun's over there. There we go. So the sun's over that way. So we're charging our batteries. We've got into whatever orbit we were going to get into. We open our bay and we launch our invisible payload. Oh, there's a thing. I didn't think about that. The air intakes are clipping into the bay doors. I should have tested that. It's not so much a big deal because we can just move these and maybe have them here. Or we could have the round air intakes. because that would work. I mean, again, the wings would clip into the air intake, so you could argue that's cheating. Another alternative is just to put a single air intake in here, because we don't need much air intake, because these engines are only going to be used for very low altitude return, so we don't really need two. So we could have fitted one just in here, or maybe two here if they don't stick outside the fairing. So that's kind of a fail. But let's imagine we've now deployed our craft. Let's close up the doors and let's prepare for a re-entry. So let us go round to, let's say, about here. So let's warp to periapsis, warp round here, and then set up a maneuver node so we can land somewhere here and then just glide in with whatever whatever lift we have left. Oh dear. Now we can only go 50 times acceleration at this altitude. We're still going to be in orbit because we're well above the 70-kilometer orbit required. So let's warp to here. Keep warping around. Looks like oh dear, we're also going to be landing in the dark. Oh dear. Right, so maneuver node. Let's get a maneuver node in and pull ourselves right down. We're using trajectories to try and predict where we are going to land. We want to come in not too far away from the airstrip, so about there, and then just glide in the rest of the way. So let's get ourselves positioned retrograde. There we go, retrograde. Make sure we're on retrograde. There we go. And there's the marker. So we're on retrograde. And node in 28 seconds. What do you mean estimated burn 2 minutes? Jeez. Let's just burn, shall we? It is 2 minutes. Oh no! Oh dear. Right, well, we're just going to keep burning. We know roughly what we need to do. We're just going to keep burning. We know we've got to burn off about 500. I'll remember that for next time. We've got to burn off 500 or so meters per second. So it's still coming down. We got we are still burning, but we seem to have completely messed up the amount of delta V we have. So obviously our engine arrangement is giving this thing a heart attack. Probably the pipes being the wrong way around. But let's have a look. Hopefully we have enough. Ah, we should be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get in. We're definitely gonna get in. So that's not going to be a problem. What's our altitude? Oh, it's still 96, so it's still fine. Let's keep it on retrograde. Thank you very much. So we want to aim just beyond the peninsula there, and if we miss, we can always go for the island runway. And you've seen my landings. Oh dear. We've seen one of them anyway. So let's go for. So let's keep burning. Got 100 and something meters per second to go. So we're definitely going to be landing somewhere. Definitely going to be landing somewhere. I didn't put any parachutes on. Oh dear. So we're going to have to land. We're going to have to land. It's going to be a very long journey, all the way back to KSC in a boat. Right, we have now run out of fuel in this section. Now I can probably transfer some fuel in. So let's transfer oxidizer and fuel in. And just finish off the burn. Little bit of a cheat there, little bit of a cheat. But there you go. We live and learn. I'd have known that if this was working. Stupid thing. Is it still going? 92. Yeah, we should be fine. Moving node's really not helping. .83. We're going to have to start turning soon. Right, okay, well, we are where we are. Let's see if we can put some additional drag on here and bring us in. So let's shut down that engine. Let's activate these two engines. And get ourselves facing, we'll get ourselves belly first. There's KSC. We are going to get well over. Although to be fair, that's not such a bad thing. That is not such a bad thing, because I actually prefer approaching from the water. You can it's a big cheat. You can use the waves, you can use the current to line yourself up to come back in. So yeah, bit of role play there. Yeah. Good luck, Bill. Good luck, Jeb. Yeah, suggestion about infinite fuel. Yeah, I know. I've done the clip-in cheats. I've done the enlargement cheats. I think infinite fuel is probably one cheat too far for me. So no, we won't be doing infinite cheats at debug. I want to have at least a good crack at this challenge to put a plane on a stick into orbit. So thanks for. No! No, 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 no! 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 Hell, this is... Oh, dear. Jeez. This is the lack of stability coming to the fore. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I'm glad most of these parts are space capable. We're getting some air in. We've got control. We have throttle. We have engines. And yes, we have power! Yes! We made it! Oh, geez, but this is going to be so difficult. This is going to be so difficult to fly. Oh, geez. Wow, this is going to be difficult to fly. Whew. Well, there's the island runway. We've missed that. We weren't actually so bad. This is so difficult to fly. Whoa. So let's get throttle down. Let's get some speed off. Whew. Oh, jeez. This is going to be so difficult to fly. Now, I suspect it's all because these tanks... Are these tanks equal? That's why. It only drained from one tank. Oh, why didn't you tell me? God, dear. So I'm going to have to equalise these tanks. No wonder. There we go. That's better. Ouch. I thought it drained equally from both tanks. Ah, well, we learn something new every day. Right, so what are we? It's at 9,000 feet, which is pretty good for these engines. You've got plenty of air into that. That was really, really fun. Right, Bill and Jeb. This now is taking a quick save now a cheat. I'm going to do it anyway. Quick save. I'm going to do a quick save, but we are going to try and get in. We are going to try and get in with our first landing, even if it means landing on the grass. Even if it means landing on the grass, because I really want this to. Work out. And we're not too bad on the lift. Now, I guess that is really down to sort of these wings clipping through the body and giving us extra lift. But I'm pretty pleased with that. But it really does twitch. No pun intended. Yep, thanks, old gaming geezer. I know that now. Oh dear. Oh dear. I am shaking. That was. I thought I was going to lose it then. Oh dear. I really thought I was going to lose. I am losing it. We're losing a lot of altitude, but we're also burning off quite a bit of speed. You can see that the prograde marker comes around quite quickly. So I think we do have enough lift to make this journey. So I'm going to take off a lot of... I think I'm going to take off quite a bit of speed and quite a bit of altitude. And you can see we can follow the current. We can follow the current in. This current right here, this little shallow current right there is what we're aiming for. So let's get the gear down. I think I'll put the gear down. It's a bit early, 23 kilometres. But I don't want to forget anything. We've got plenty of air, we've got plenty of fuel. This thing could fly for miles on fuel, on fumes for that matter. So there we go, we're just about lined up. We're still drifting a little. I'm going to try and cancel out that drift. Right, so we're all lined up. So let's... 17 and a bit kilometres to go. We're following this current in. A little bit off to the right now. There we go. Still a little bit off to the right. Losing quite a bit of height, so let's not lose too much. Just pull this across just a little bit. There are other people who just come down with a kilometre to go and basically drop it right on the end of the runway and just cruise into the hangar. I wish I could do that. Right, so we got quite a bit of lift here. We're actually, it's nice and stable. Here's the shallows. We're coming over the shallows now. 10 kilometres to go. So we want to start coming down a little bit. 140, 150 kilometres are still a bit quick. So let's bring us down just a little bit in throttle. Bill is not looking happy, and I know how he feels. 7 kilometres to go. Still, what are we doing? We're going at about 20, 30 metres per second vertically. Want to get that to about 10 or less, just like you would landing a standard spacecraft. So 139 metres per second. We want to have a little bit of thrust so we can turn. We're coming in a little bit off to the left again. Concentration on my face, not that you can see it. Right, we want to get down. We're 400. Coming over the coast now. Start getting her a bit level. I think we're going to miss. We're nicely lined up, but I think we're just going to come down just off the runway. Come on. Nose up a little. Come on. We're just going to miss the runway. Just being too gentle with it. When I said plonk it on the end of the runway, I meant the beginning of the runway, not the end of the runway. Oh dear. Well, there we go. There we go. We have managed to get a space plane on a stick into space, and I think that counts. I think this space plane did indeed get into space on a stick. So thank you very much, John, for that challenge. I'd like to thank everyone for watching and for commenting, and I'll see you again soon. You take care. Bye-bye.